In this part, we're gonna build our authentication. In the last video, we implemented login and register, but we did not manage JWT token. You will learn how to create this type of landing page. If you go to the login or if you go to the register, let me show you with the help of register. I'm gonna register a new account. Let's log in the existing account. We will improve this flow Pomodoro timer. Remember, we're gonna build these features. You will have dashboard route and a profile route. A user, you can see the profile of the user, and you will see the logout button, logout link. And if you notice that we are going to implement the cookie based authentication, I'll teach you why I chose the cookie based authentication. We're gonna save the JSON web token into cookie instead of local storage. I can show you here. This is our access token. The localhost, the domain is localhost://33333 because my backend NestJS server is running on localhost port tetra 3. This is the access token. When I click on the logout, you should not see the access token. If I try to access the protected route, I cannot see that because it will navigate to the login route. If I try to access the profile route, it will not allow me to access the profile route. So we're gonna implement this feature in this part. I'll teach you more about, now we're gonna explore more about the strategies of authentication in Next.js. To implement authentication on frontend, I had two options in front of me: store the JWT token on local storage or session storage. And I found this is easier to implement if you are building prototype or simpler low security needs, then you should do that. But this approach is a little bit secure, not a secure. You can have XSS attacks. Malicious script could be steal the token. No automatic token sending. You must manually attach it on every request. That's a disadvantage of using that approach. This approach works well if you're using prototype, internal apps. I chose that approach, store JWT in HTTP only cookies. On login, NestJS sets HTTP only or secure cookie with JWT, right? When you log in, you will receive a cookie. Browser sends the cookie automatically on every request to the API. We don't need to attach this one, authorization barrier token. I found this one is more secure from XSX attached. JS cannot read only HTTP cookies. So automatically sent by browser, no need to attach manually. I know a little bit complex, but I want to do that. This approach can be used in most production apps where do you need more security but not full server-side session management. We'll look at how to implement refresh tokens, all of that. But we're going to use that. In the last video, if you checked, we stored JSON web token. We created that. On login, we are sending the token. We have to change our approach on login. Instead of sending token, we're going to send a simple message, login successful. Now we're going to implement that. First of all, we have to install the package cookie. I want you to install that package. I think I should create a separate branch. I'll call it cookie based auth. So I think I also need to install the typing as a dev dependency. I'll call it types cookie. When you go to the main.ts file, what I was doing, I did not set any origin. I set the star, but we have to change that. Instead, we should say, please accept the request from specific port, or you can specify that here, or you can say that front-end project, or how can you set the port? Let's say front-end URL. Yeah, this one is good. My front-end application will be running on port 3000. So you can set that here. I'll call it front-end URL. Or you can say course origin. I think I should set the course origin. Course origin is 3000. Get rid of this one. Or default is port 3000 if I did not specify that. This one is for only local development. If you go to the auth controller, we have to change a logic here. Instead of sending token back, we're gonna send the cookie back. I'll call it res.cookie, but we need a response. I have to add that from here, from nest common res. And we need a decorator. Here, I'll call it response, res any. Or you set the pass through is equals to true. Res.cookie, I want to send this cookie, or you can send the simple token back, but I don't want to send the token back. I can say message login successfully. Please rename it to JWT to access token. Here I'm providing the token. This is the maximum age of the cookie. I think I should set the message here. We also need more like settings. I can say same site, which is strict. Same site, there is a property other lax. Don't worry, I'll explain you what are these. This is used for CSRF protection. Secure for, yes, production, it should be secure on production. Path should be cookie path is slash. Same site, secure max age path. I only have 5 properties. Let's talk about how rest.cookie works. What are these options? The first one is I set the name of the cookie. When I logged in the application tab, you will find the cookie, the name of the cookie, this one, the access token, and this token is the value, right? That is it. The first one is clear now. The token is the value, just like that, access token and token. It's gonna store this one. This one is the key, name, access token, and this one is the value, access token. HTTP only true. What does it mean? HTTP only true, right? Now we're gonna discuss that. Makes the cookie inaccessible to JavaScript running in the browser. So hackers or other people cannot access that cookie by running the JavaScript. So this protects the SXSS attacks, like some malicious script running on your browser to get the token. So same site lacks control whether the cookies are sent with cross-site request. Cookies are sent for normal navigation, clicking a link, typing the URL. This provides some CSRF protection while still allowing normal navigation. There is another option, strict, more secure but can break cross-site redirects. This for security purpose. All of these options are for security purpose. Secure means like please send the HTTPS on production. HTTPS for only local development we're going to use HTTP. Please allow that for only testing purpose. This one I set the AH lifetime of the cookie in milliseconds. Here 1 day. After 1 day the browser will delete the cookie automatically. Alternative is you can also set the expired state. The cookie will send automatically for all routes under /. If I go to the dashboard route, if I'll be login, it's gonna send the cookie. If I'll send the profile route, it will attach the cookie if user is logged in, right? That is why I set the base path with this URL, which is //. If you set the /dashboard, it would only send for /dashboard and subpath. If you allow that, cookie will only be sent after /dashboard and let's say time or something like that. But I want to use base path which is / and rest pass through. We use that here. This tells NestJS I don't want to use res.send. I want to set the cookies or headers and still let the NestJS handle the JSON response for you. What does this code do in under the hood? When the user logs in, you send back a secure HTTP only same site cookie containing their JWT. This is what you are doing here. And the browser automatically sends it with every request to your NestJS backend without exposing it to the client-side JavaScript. You don't need to add the authorization header in every request like JWT or barrier token. I hope it clears. If you are having more questions, you can comment on this video. I'll create a separate video to explain more about your questions. We also need to do a little bit refactoring in JWT strategy. What I was doing, I was getting a token from header like authorization header, but we are sending the cookie. So we are going to expect the token from the cookie. That is why I installed the cookie library. I want you to import the cookie. Import star as cookie from cookie. Here we should change that. Please extract the JWT from the cookie. There is a method you can use that. From extractor, I can call that from extractors. It will take the array. And in the array, the first argument, the first parameter or the first item, it should be a function. This function will take the request object. If I can say, if there is no request, or you can say if not request dot headers dot cookie, then I can send the null back, right? Otherwise I should parse the cookie from the request dot headers dot cookies, right? And we need to get the access token from the cookies, which we will save here, and it's gonna parse the access token from the request cookies. If not, then I should return null, or you can use that syntax, or you can also make it more simpler. Return null. Yes, parse the cookie from the request header, and you can use that comment as well. Now our goal is to test that. I think my project is running already. I can send the request from the postman. My project is running. I think I stopped the project. Let's run that. I have set the port 3001, so I should look for 3001. Let's send the backup request or backend login request from the postman. Get rid of extra. Let's change the 3001 auth login. I can use that either at gmail.com and my password. Login successfully. You can see that token set in the cookie. What if I want to access the profile route? Auth profile. I'm not setting any authorization header, right? It is getting from the cookie, right? This cookie has been attached. You can see that. You can also double check from the postman by hidden. This auth access token has been attached. So it means our authentication is working fine with cookie based. We're gonna talk more about how can we integrate the cookie based JWT authentication in Next.js. We need to do a little bit refactoring in login form. We are not returning token from the login API. We are returning a message. So into the login form, you should change that. Otherwise you will get the error back. Another thing, I'm going to create a new method inside my API.ts file. I'll call it, you can call any name. I'll call it fetch with auth or fetch user. I'll call it fetch with auth. I don't want this token. Sometimes I don't like the auto suggestion from here. Let's remove that. We need to get the response. I'm gonna use the fetch. Let's provide the URL and options. This time I'm gonna set the credentials to true. I would like to include the credentials. I'll teach you what does it mean. That's all for now. If you want, I can log the status of this one. If response is not okay, I can return the error back. Fail to fetch the data. If everything is fine, I can return return res.json. Maybe you have a question, what does this mean? Credentials to true. This include is used to add the cookies in the request. We are running Next.js project on port 3000 and we are running Nest Next.js project. Our backend project is running on port 3001. So this include will tell to add a cookie while sending the backend request. There are three options. You can have credentials for omit or same origin, but this include is used to add the cookies. Now we're gonna move forward with profile page. Let's test that. I'm gonna log in. Either is our login working fine or not. Server error. I think my server is not running. Let's refresh it. Now you can see the dashboard, and you should see, I think I cannot see the access token here. We have to fix that. It should store the access token here, but I cannot see that. It has navigated to the dashboard route, but cookie is not created. The issue is I did not add include in the login request. You should add credentials to true here. Credentials to include. I did not include that. You should do that for register also. This credentials will save the cookie, create the cookie for us. Now I should go to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you can see we have the access token. Now our goal is to implement the logout. If user is not logged in, I should not allow the user to access the dashboard route or profile route. We did not create the profile route yet. We also do not have any Navbar. We're gonna implement that too. When you look at our application, we don't have any navigation bar. Let's create a new component of the navbar. I can create inside the UI. Let's call it navbar. It should be a function navbar. Let's try to check that the Copilot code. I should call that navbar component inside the layout. So I can render that component in the layout. Let's do that here. Now I can see the navbar. I should change the styling. Let's do with our styling. The first link I will have, let's do that from scratch. Navbar, I would like to background of white and shadow is medium, padding for by3. In here I want a div with class name max width 7xl mx auto flex justify between an item center. Yes, I want that. Here I want to add a link or my logo. I can get that link from the next link. It should be, I can call the name of my app AI Pomodoro. Yeah. Text Excel font should be bold. Text gray 800. Yeah, let's check that. Now I have amazing logo. It's a link that will navigate to the home page or root route. Let's continue. Let's add class name. It should be hidden. This is the desktop menu. I will have both mobile side and desktop side. I'll call it desktop menu. The class name, it should be hidden. MD flex on the medium screen. Space x6 item center. Here I would like to render the link. Name should be home. Text gray 700 and over text blue 900. Yeah, no, it's actually 600. So we have a home link. If you want a gray, what will happen? Whatever you like. So we have the home link. We will have the dashboard and dashboard link. Actually, I should add it here. Dashboard. It should be dashboard. Dashboard. Looks good. I also need to create another link profile. The path should be profile. Right now we did not create the profile component yet. So we created the basic Navbar in Next.js. You will learn more about how to create mobile site, like mobile responsive Navbar, and how to create protected link like Logout. We did not create the login and the register route. Let's add that. I'll call it login and first should be register. It should be register. Here it should be register. Here it should be login, and this one is should login. Yeah, that looks good, but It is moving to the register. It is navigating to the login route. But you can see that user is not logged in. We don't want to display the dashboard link here. We also don't want to display the profile link here. These two are my protected pages. Only authenticated users can access these two routes. We need to maintain the state in component. We have to share the component state like user is logged in. If I draw the diagram for you, we need to have a state. It should be a global state. Here we will save user is logged in or not. I will say it is logged in or not, user is logged in or not. So this state can be shared in or used in dashboard page or in profile page. This state. So our goal is to have a global state which we want to share in a multiple pages. That is our goal. So in Next.js, if you have worked with in React, you mostly familiar with Redux, right? You maybe want to use Redux, but there is another option for us, which is Zustand. So in the previous video, we talked about the Zustand, basically the state management planning. We're going to use a Zustand package. Zustand, I don't know how to pronounce. Zustand or Zustand. We have to install that. Zustand, yes, Zustand. Yeah, this one. In Zustand, we don't need Redux like reducer actions, stuff like that. You only have to create a state in a single object, just like here. You define the state here, this one, let's say the count is in the state, right? They have the demo and they have the increment method, right? This set method is used to mutate the state. If you want to modify the state, you should use the set method. Set method will take the state and make sure you return the exact state, like count, this one. So first of all, we're gonna define the store. Let's do that. I should go to the lib directory and create a store folder. Here I will have the state related to auth. I'll call it authstore.ts. First we need to define the type. They did not use TypeScript, they did not define the type. So I can define the type of the state, auth type. I would like to keep the logged in, either user logged in or not. And we will have a method to mutate the state, set logged in. It's gonna take the value boolean, either logged in or not, and it's gonna return anything. It will not return anything. That's why I set the void. Basically, we defined the structure of our state. Now I can return that. Let's create auth store, right? Let's create auth store. We're gonna use the create method from the start. Make sure you import from the start package. The type should be auth state. It will take the set method. Set method, I told you to mutate the state. Logged in should be false. This is the default state. When you call the set logged in, you must need to provide the value. Your function, this one set logged in, will change the value. Logged in should be whatever value you provide. When we will use the auth store, you will understand more. Let's change the state in the login form. When user is logged in, we need to set the logged in to true. So go to the login form and here inside after the router, let's get the set logged in from the from the use auth store. They provide the hook use auth store. What is that? I think I changed the name for auth store to, let's change that to auth store. Use auth store. It's a hook. So I can import that. Now I got the set logged in method. If you looked at your auth state, you should provide a boolean value to mutate the state. If user is logged in, then we should say that set logged into true. That's it. Let's test that. So when I log in, I cannot verify that. Let's log in. I have logged in successfully. So I think it has set the set logged into true, but we will verify that. If user is logged in, we don't want to display the login and register route. We only want to display dashboard and profile and logout route. Now we're gonna build that. We can add our check here at the navbar. First of all, I would like to get the state. There is another way you can do that. Logged in, use store, use auth store. This is another way to do that, but we use the another method. Here inside the login form, we used that method. This one and this one is the same. Whatever you like, you should follow that syntax. It should be logged in. Now what I gonna do, first of all, I have to get the token right. I can use the useEffect method. Whenever it load the application, it should get the token. useEffect, I'm gonna set the by default. I should get the token from the cookie. Cookies, yeah, cookies dot get. Actually, we have to install the JS cookies. It's a package to get token from the cookie. Let's import cookies. I'll call it cookies. From JS cookies, it should be cookies dot get. We use the access token key token from cookies. If there is a token, then it means user logged in. If we can follow that syntax, that is it. I don't need to do if and else. We can simplify that. I should install the typing, I think. JS cookies. What is that? Cookie. I installed cookies. npm uninstall JS cookies. It is a cookie. npm install JS cookie not cookies. Now it sounds good. Yeah, I need to install the typing. Now everything is fine now. When our navbar will be loaded, if there is a token, we set the state set logged into true. Set logged into true, this one. If there is a token, then it's gonna pass boolean which is value true. If there is a no token, it's gonna pass boolean value false. Now we're gonna implement the handle logout method. We will also have a route for logout. Cookies.remove. It's gonna remove that. It should be async. Cookies.remove access token and set logged in to false. I also have a logout method inside our API. I think did we define that in our backend project of logout route? I think we don't have. Let's define that method here. I'm gonna copy the login and I'm gonna paste it here. This should be logout. I don't need to get any body, but we need pass through because we are telling to Next.js. We are telling to Nest.js. I want to return the header, actually cookie. Get rid of everything. It's gonna clear the cookie with access token, right? And send a simple message, logout successfully, cookie cleared. So we need to define that method in the api.ts file. Instead of login, we need a logout. I'll call it logout user. I don't need to get any input for the logout. It should be logout. Auth logout method should be post. And credentials include, get rid of this one. Now I can call the logout user. Here I can use the router dot push. There is a router. We don't have router. Let's get that. Let's get the router by using the hook. Use router. Next router. I'll call it router.push. It should be login route. We will call that handle logout on the button, on the link. We'll do that. Our goal is to display the logout route when user has authenticated successfully. We don't want to display login and register route when user logged in. We gotta do a little bit more refactoring. What I can do, I can create a separate link. I'll call it auth links. It's just a function. It's gonna return the JSX. What I can do, I can copy auth links like dashboard, profile, dashboard and profile. Yeah, and I also need to create a logout route. For the logout, I want to have a button logout. Button. It should have handle logout. On click handle logout. Text gray 700. Hover text gray 600. Let's add the focus outline none. So we need to render the auth link. Similarly, we can create a separate links for public routes. I'll call it this one, the public route. This one, the public route. Const guest links, I'll call it the public route. Let's focus on the desktop menu. Here, if user is logged in, we need to display the auth links. Otherwise, we need to display the guest links. I can get that state from, I think, logged in. I get that. Is logged in, but yeah, I can rename it to is logged in. Is logged in. Yeah. Let's test that. You have a server component that imports next router, use next navigation. Where, yeah, it should be on the next navigation. use effect, you are importing component use effect. It's a client component. Let's make that to client component because we are using use effect. I like that. Next.js tells me when to use server component and when to use client component. So we have a login register. Let's log in. Now I can see the dashboard, profile, and the logout route, right? So our code is working fine. When you load this component, if you check that, it's gonna call this one, token from cookie, first time undefined, and then account created, account logged in successfully. It should be, let's navigate to here. Token from cookies undefined, but still we are getting that undefined. Yeah, actually I think logged out. I logged out. Let's logged out. We should change the message on the login. It should not account created. Logged in, account logged in. Or I can say that count login with data. So our logic is working fine. Logout is working fine. At gmail.com. Count logged in, we got that data. Profile, I don't have any profile route. So that is why it sent back to the login when I access the profile route. We will create the profile later. But you can access the dashboard, home, logout is working fine. Now our goal is to protect the dashboard route. I'm not logged in, but I can access the dashboard route. Or if I will have profile route, I can access the profile route. We need to implement that logic. If you look at our application on mobile view, we don't have Navbar. We did not add responsive menu bar, actually Navbar. So let's make that responsive. You should do that in Navbar. We need to maintain the state. I'll call it is open or set is open react.use. This is a client side component, so I can use the use state. You open after desktop menu, we can build a mobile site menu. Here I will have the button. Let's create a button. Actually, I want to do it manually. It's a mobile site menu. Button. On click. should be on clicked. I'm gonna set the is open. Set is open. I think the set is open. Yeah, I'm gonna negate that. Let's define the class name. Call it MD hidden. Text gray 800 and focus outline dash none. Here if is open, button is open, then we should add the X size. I think we should install the package menu. We didn't install that. Let's install the package. We need external package. It's called the Lucid React. Lucid React, yeah, it provides the menu. I'll npm install Lucid React. It's going to provide me this menu and the X. Now I should import that from Lucid React. Here I will have mobile menu. If it is open, yeah, then we need to display the div md hidden mt2 background. No, I don't need that. Let's work on one div first. I don't want background white. I don't want shadow. Empty hidden mt2 space y2, that's fine. pb padding bottom 4. Yeah. And I will have a link for the home. Block text gray 700, hover text gray, that looks good. Let's use the link. Now if user is logged in, we need to display something else. I'll call it to link should be, actually we're gonna render that, but we need a different styling. href is equals to dashboard block class name block text gray hover, that looks good. Dashboard. We also need profile route. If it's logged in, then do this one, otherwise do these routes, login and register. But I will also have a logout route. It should be actually a button. Yeah. On click, block text gray. I'll call it logout. I think something is missing. Let's use the compiler to fix the bracket. Could you fix the bracket? In your mobile menu, rendering logic. All right, I'm gonna continue. Let's run the application. Let's go to the mobile side menu, right? Now it looks good. I can see the, if I, let's do it here. I can see home, login, register, out. Go to the register, you should see the register. I can see the home. Can continue. Let's log in. I can see the dashboard. Now I can see the dashboard route, home. I don't have profile, it will log out. If I click on the logout, everything is fine now. So we made our Navbar responsive on the mobile side. When you go to the dashboard without login, you can access the dashboard. We need to prevent that. Only authenticated user can access the dashboard page. What do I need? I need to get the make the API request here by providing the token. If browser deletes the cookies, we will not get the token. So we can add the logic here. Let's say we can get the cookies. I'll call it cookie store. Cookies from the Next.js headers. Here what I want to do, cookies, we need to use cookie store object. Apply await expression and cookie store dot get all and we can map that into cookie. Let's use the backtick. Cookie dot name is equals to value. Because our request follows that syntax, that's why I should follow the exact syntax. And at the end, we should join that with colon. It should be cookie header. It's an async function, so I can use the async here. So we got the cookie header. Let's say if I log that cookie header or cookie store or cookie header, cookie store, cookie header. Let's try to access that. It's a server-side component, so I can get the console here. I got a lot of cookies, cookie store. Actually, we need to return log cookie header. Right now, what is inside the cookie header? This is the cookie header. You can see the syntax, the key and the value and the colon, semicolon. We did not log in. That is why there is no access token inside the cookie. If you go to the application, you will not find cookie for access token. I'm gonna log in. Now you can see the access token. Now I can move to the dashboard page. I can see the access token. Here I can see the access token. You can also add the logic here. If there is a no cookie, if there is a no access token inside the cookie header is just a string, then we can redirect to the login. You can import redirect from the Next.js navigation. Let's double check that. Right now we have access token, right? It is allowing me to access the dashboard page. One thing I notice, now I can access the dashboard page. If I go to the logout, if I access the dashboard, it is, now I can see that the login page. So if there is a cookie, actually the access token inside the cookie, then we need to make the API request to backend server. I can use backtick here, env dot next public URL. Let's get the exact value. Next public. Here I'll say auth/profile. We need to provide headers. Here I'm gonna provide the cookies. Make sure you should change the name. It should be cookie, not, I know it was a typo mistake. Cookie and cookie header. And we also need to include the credentials. Credentials include. Please get that token from the cookie. And we also set the cache to no cache, no store. If rest dot, okay. Maybe there is a token inside the cookie, but user does not exist on our backend server. In that case, we have to check that. Login. One more thing I noticed that, let me double check that. I think I don't have a cookie. Let's send the login request. Now I am logged in. I can access the dashboard. One thing I noticed that this was the issue I was looking for. I logged in. There is an access token, but I cannot see the dashboard and the logout route. When you refresh the page, you should not see the dashboard and the logout or profile route. We have to fix that. Actually, we need to add a logic in our layout component, layout page or layout root page. If user is logged in, then you need to do not display these links. I want you to go to the layout component, layout page actually, inside the app directory, and you should navigate everything to client wrapper. We did not create that component yet. We'll create. Let's create the client wrapper inside the components, inside the UI directory, or you can create that in the auth. I'll call it client wrapper. It's a client-side component. Here I can say that it's a client-side component. Let's create the function client wrapper. It will accept the children as props. You can also define the type of the props. Call it react node. Here we need to get the login. Is user logged in from the store? We use the Zustand, or you can say the set logged in. I can use auth store. It will take the state as an argument and it's gonna return the state we need. We need set logged in. So whenever we will load client wrapper, this use effect will be called. We also need to add dependency for use effect. Each time the state of logged in changed, set logged in has changed, then it should check the login. Then what it will do, we're gonna define the function. Inside the function, we'll call it check login. Async await, try catch. If there is an error, or set logged into false. Yeah. If state changes, it will set logged into response dot okay. But we did not make the API call yet. I'll make that fetch process dot env dot next public /auth /profile. /auth /profile. All right. And credentials to include. It should be response. At the end, we should call that method check login. That's it. If you will not make the function, that will work too. Or actually, I should not do that in the function. Let's do that. Check login. Turn that into async function. I think I can now do that. Wait. Let's refactor to this one. Whenever the set logged in state changes, it's gonna call this method. This method will return a children. So we're gonna wrap our layout component with this client wrapper. Go to the layout, and we already did that. Let's import the client wrapper. Now I should test that. I am logged in. Now it is displaying that dashboard profile. We don't have profile route. I'm gonna refresh that. Now you should see dashboard profile and the logout page. So we fixed that with the help of client wrapper. Client wrapper, let's say if I'm gonna change the state, it is this component, this client wrapper will be reloaded, and everything will be reloaded in the navbar. When you look at the layout, client wrapper will be changed, navbar will be loaded, and all of the children will be reloaded.